Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, Air, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about the first trans hate crime at a federal level in this country. So basically, this is something that happened in the last couple of days now. You had this black dude from Atlanta, Georgia, who killed another black dude in Atlanta, Georgia, who claimed to be transgender, and now is being put on federal trial for hate crime charges, which, to me, I think it's kind of ridiculous, honestly. Because you know damn well if this had been a trans person killing a straight dude or some gay person killing a straight dude, there would never be a trial like this. And that's the problem right now with our judicial system entirely. It's completely weaponized. It is a bunch of bullshit in general. And I think, honestly, that in this case particularly, because we know who the suspect is, we know who the victim is, here's what it is. I really honestly think that at least one of the guys that was involved in this murder, because suppose it's like two guys are on trial, I guess, here. But this, I'm trying to even think I pronounce this guy's name. It's like Daqua or something. So I don't know if that's like a weird word to spell Derek, or if that's like Daqua or something, maybe. I don't know. I'm just going to call the guy D, though, for short, because it's just easier on my brain, honestly, at this point. But yeah, so basically, as Andy No pointed out last night on X, you have, as he said here, it said, first federal gender hate crime trial begins this week in Columbia, South Carolina. DOJ alleges Daqua Lameek Ritter executed a black trans person in 2019. Nearly all publications have highlighted the victim's black and trans identity, but have withheld the suspect's photo. Said left-wing activists point to how most murdered trans people in the U.S. are black and brown, but also withhold stating the fact that those who kill them are also mostly black males. And looking at this guy right here, like this, in fact, this is the killer guy or whatever in this case, this dude looks like he could be a down low gay guy, honestly. And I'm just going to say it like it is, man. And I say that particularly from the reason that when you actually look into this Dime Doe, is what they're calling this person, who was murdered by that guy, that murder guy, this is what that person looked like. And I'm not even gonna lie, dude. Like, looking at that person straight on, like, you can tell it's a man. Like, they ain't even passing as a chick, man. Like, I've seen, like, this is the thing, right? Like, I've done enough stories about transgenderism on these channels, dude, that, and I've done enough research, I've had people send me enough stuff over the years and stuff like that, to where there's a lot of people who can pass as biological females that are trans, and there's a lot of motherfuckers who can't pass. And this person right here was somewhere in between. I think it was more leaning towards the fact that, like, if you look at him for long enough, you're just like, oh yeah, that's a dude. And I would not be surprised, honestly, if this situation entirely, because I'm going to read the story, obviously, here in a minute, but I really think, honestly, personally, I would not be the least bit surprised if that Ritter dude was actually a down low gay guy and was in a relationship with this person, this Dime person, and then it turned out it was something where it was like obviously a down low relationship and shit like there, and then Dime was all like, oh, I'm gonna out you to your friends because you're just some, literally FAG, some gay guy, whatever the case be, and that's when this guy decided to kill him, is what it was. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by it. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that came out in the trial in the next couple of days here, whatever the case be. So it all depends. But yeah, I think it's very interesting. And it also is very truthfully disgusting. how the mainstream media will sit there and they will fucking be like, oh, there's such a fucking whatchamacallit on the black and the brown trans people in this country, but yet refuse to actually admit who the murderers really are, is a bunch of black dudes in most cases. Like, that's the thing. It's not a bunch of white guys going around murking out like black trans people, dude. It's a bunch of their own people doing it to them. And I think in some cases, like maybe not in this case particularly, but like in other cases, I know there was at least one that there in South Carolina, or no, was it South Carolina? North Carolina, maybe? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, because this was South Carolina, right? I was thinking this was Atlanta, Georgia for some reason. Yeah, but there was another one in Atlanta, Georgia. I think I said Atlanta to begin with, so my bad on that one. I have to correct myself. It's supposed to be South Carolina is what happened here. But yeah, there was one a couple years ago, Atlanta, Georgia there, where it was this person claiming to basically be a biological female. Didn't say a word to this dude about being, trans or whatever the case be. They end up meeting at some motel room, whatever it is there, and apparently start getting busy, and then literally dude pulls down fucking pants thinking there's going to be a fucking hole and there's a pole, and freaked the fuck out and killed this dude. Killed this transgender person. And and it's like the same exact thing over and over again. And it really makes me wonder, like, how many of these trans people are actually just gay men who are faking to be trans, who just want to sit there and turn around and be like, ha ha, gotcha, you're actually just some down low gay dude or whatever, to like some straight dudes is what it is then. And it makes sense, because if you're trying to make a fool out of these people, like, yeah, like I'd be pissed too, man. Am I gonna, kill this person? No, because that's fucking nuts. That's retarded is what it is, dude. But when you got a bunch of low IQ motherfuckers who are like, fucking just rage and anger takes over, it's just like pound, 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 pound. Fucking, just see red. Fucking 10 minutes later, they come up and their fucking fists are all bloody. And there's just this dead body on the fucking ground in front of them is what it is there. So, yeah, it's sad, man. And I think the saddest part is, like, legitimately, I'm gonna say it like it is. As a guy right now, who I consider myself to be bisexual, and I've said that before, I'll say it again right now. And that being said, I very much am attracted to femininity. And my thing is, like, from what I have personally seen in the last, like, 3 to 5 years is what it is here, there is a lot of very effeminate men who are now claiming to be transgender and can pass for female. And it fucks with my brain, because I obviously find myself sexually attracted to these people is what it is. And I think there's a lot of other people that have gone down that route as well, for that matter. And, like, that's what I'm saying. And that's the whole thing, though, dude. And that's why I consider myself to be more bisexual at this point, because there definitely is a fine line between the two things. And yeah, and more anymore, it seems like I'm kind of, 70-30, honestly, when it comes to certain things like that. And I'll leave it at that, basically. You can figure out what I'm talking about from there is what it is then. Between the sexes, what it is there. But anyway. But the whole point is, though, is like, I feel like there's definitely this shift that's happened in our country where you have a lot of people who maybe they would have just been very effeminate gay dudes is what it is back in the day, that are now calling themselves transgender is what it is now. And I know for a fact, like, I personally have seen videos out there that have been shared on social media, and maybe some of them have gone viral, maybe some of them haven't, is what it is there. But I have personally seen videos where you're obviously having these people who are claiming to be trans clearly going after straight men and trying to convert a straight man into, like, this weird, like, either bisexuality or gayness or whatever it is there. And it's not okay, man. It really is not okay. Because obviously that dude, he's not attracted to fucking cock. He wants some fucking pussy. And if you're going to take him down that road, down that rabbit hole, and then wonder why he gets pissed off when you fucking, oh, surprise, here's a dick in your fucking mouth kind of thing. You know, when he thinks he's about to eat some chick out or whatever. And yeah, like then you wonder why he fucking bites your dick off, basically, or you wonder why he beats the fucking shit out of you and then rips your fucking dick off with his bare hand or something, dude. Actually, there was a good one. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh at that, but I was thinking about a funny one I heard the other day, which is basically there was a dude. There was a dude back in I was on X or whatever, and it was like one of these stories that was in the comment sections. And it was this guy talking about one of his buddies who I guess back in, it was either the 70s, like late 70s, early 80s, someplace in there. And that's, mind you, that was back when you either were super feminine looking and you could pass because you were dressing up in drag and stuff like that's what it was. Or it was something where that dude was about 20 beers deep and 20 beers deep. Yeah. 20 beers deep. Yeah, tiredness. I'm not drunk or high or anything right now. I'm just tired. But yeah, the dude was like 20 beers deep or whatever. Maybe 10 beers deep. Who knows? Depends. You know, beer goggles, whatever it is there. And is like looking over and sees like this hot piece of ass, or he thinks it's a hot piece of ass, and it's just some like ugly ass dude and like dragging shit. And yeah, so supposedly what happened was you had this person that was obviously claimed to be transgender or, you know, cross-dresser, whatever you want to call it there. And they walked up to the bar, whatever. They were like hitting on this dude. This dude's like, yeah, you want to go outside, whatever. And that person's like, oh, yeah, sure. And then they went out back or whatever to like go out. I think it was out by the dumpster or something like that to like go do some sexual stuff or whatever then. Because obviously this guy thought he was going to be with a chick that knows what it was. And then apparently, from my understanding from the story, he went like this, like basically like both hands down the pants or whatever. Or like just even like one hand down the pants to like, you know, feel the chick up, whatever then. And then obviously like, you know, felt the dick there. And so apparently he then fucking grabs this dude by the fucking cock that's now in his hand. Like I don't know exactly how he was holding this person's dick. If he was holding it like this, or if it was like that, or how it was. But apparently he was like fucking grasping this motherfucker's cock with one hand and beating the fucking shit out of him with the other hand. And I have to laugh at that because I'm like, bro, that is probably the gayest story I've ever heard. That you would sit there and fucking hold on for X amount of time. Enough to like beat the fuck out of somebody with the other fist. Like it was too much, man. It really was. just like I'm laughing right now about this whole situation, like telling this story, like it was exactly what I did that night when I first read that. I'm just sitting there laughing hysterically. I'm just like, bro, like what the fuck? And yeah, and again, that's what happens most of the time. Is what it is. Then you have this person who, instead of being straightforward and being like, you know, it's like some dude being like, "Hey, baby, what's your name?" And she's just like, "Oh, it's Ron," you know, or something like that, or it's like, "Oh yeah, it's Rhonda," but really it's Ron, or something like that. But no, seriously, like if. And that's the thing, right? Like, there are some of these people who, like, I've seen some of them, and like I said, like, at face value, like, they've done enough to themselves where, whether it be makeup jobs, whether it be, you know, they were already, like, super feminine looking to begin with as a man, and then it's just very easy to transition over to that female role is what it is then. But yeah, like, like I said, dude, like, there is a lot of them out there that I am definitely, I can look at face value myself right now and be like, that's a hot looking piece of ass, dude. Like, that's a hot looking chick. And so I could easily see some dude being fooled by some of these people. But then you'll have like these videos out there where it's like some chick at like some bar with some dude or whatever the case be. And it's like, should I tell him I'm trans? It's like, if you want to be alive tomorrow, you probably should. You know, like, seriously, bro. Like, don't, like, that's the thing, right? Like, why lie? Like, that's the thing, right? Like, there's people out there who would be fine with it, dude. Like, that's my thing, right? Like, if I was on a dating app right now and I was just looking around and whatever, like looking for, chicks, whatever the case be, or whatever it is that day or whatever, and I just came upon this like hot looking what looks like a female, and they're just like, oh yeah, I'm transgender. I'd be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And if they're still like, if that's the thing, if they were good looking enough, I'd just be like, you want to go get some coffee or something? And there'd be nothing wrong with that, honestly. Like, it'd be me meeting someone at that point, Now, granted, am I going to be in a long-term relationship with that person? Probably not. Because, again, I still want to have biological children at some point in my life. But the entire point is, it's like, I would have no problem dating that person for a while, And I think they'd be fine with it too, honestly. And that would be the thing. Like, we would know from the beginning, like, this is what this is. Like, I know that they are born a biological male and are living their life as a female now. And I'm okay with that, And that'd be the whole thing of it, dude. And I think there's a lot of other guys out there too that can say the same exact thing right now. And that's the whole point entirely. Is if these people were upfront about it, you would have none of this shit going on. You'd have none of these people randomly getting murdered and stuff like that. Because it would just be a straight up fucking fact where it's just like, from the fucking get-go, that person knows what you are. Knows who you are, knows what you are, and you can build trust and an actual relationship from there is what it is, dude. But the problem is, when you have all these motherfuckers going around lying to people and being like, oh, hey, baby, you want some of this ass or whatever? And the guy's like, yeah. And then it turns out, like, it's actual ass, and it's like in reality, they kind of wanted some puss is what it was. So, now, granted, I guess it could be even worse because then you have the other side of the, coin where it is, you'll have some of these people go all the way down to getting the trans surgeries and stuff like that for the quote unquote neo vaginas is what it is there. Which is obviously a man-made hole at the end of the day where you have to literally fucking like put like a dilator thing into it to keep it from literally closing shut is what it is. And that's also why people like Blair White have talked about in the past why they won't go and get that bottom surgery because, it would literally be them having just like essentially it's a wound is what it is, dude. It's a gaping wound is what it is at the end of the day. And I'll tell you what, dude, some people have sent me some photos of shit like that after people have done like those bottom surgeries, and I'm just like, ugh. Like, it is nasty, bro. Like, we have not perfected that shit at all in this country or any country for that matter. And like, honestly, I don't know if we could at some point make a thing where it would be like a full transplantable deal where it would be like some, like, let's go ahead and say some chick is like brain dead or whatever the case be and was like a biological female. And you could like figure out a way to like almost like take like everything, like not just like not just like her uterus or whatever, but like the pussy and everything too, for that matter, where you just like essentially like cut like her entire like system out or whatever. And at the same time, you do like the same thing to the person that was transgender or whatever, and like somehow swap the shit over or something. Like, I could see that being a modern medical advancement at some point in the future. And if that was possible, like, that would be a fucking game changer, honestly, dude. For everybody around. And, I mean, the thing is, like, what's even more fucked up, though, too, is that I know they've been talking about recently, like, womb transplants and stuff like that, because they did one successfully with some woman, is what it was, just so you could finally have a kid, is what it was there. And I've heard one recently, actually, where it was some person that was supposed to be transgender who supposedly had one of the neo-vagina things is what it was there, was all like, oh yeah, I totally want to get a womb transplant so I can have a biological children, so I can get pregnant with a biological child so I can go abort that kid. Like, what the hell kind of fucking demonic shit is that, dude? Like, what kind of demon fucking brain misfires you got going on up there, upstairs, man, that your fucking first thought process is get a womb transplant to get pregnant so you can have an abortion. Like that is beyond pure evil at that point, man. It really is. And that's what I'm saying with this whole thing right now. So, but anyway, so going back to that story, though, we're gonna read this one here for the actual person that was killed there, that dime person. They call it Dime Doe. Here's what it is. And as this headline says, it says 2 South Carolina men are charged in connection with the 2019 killing of Dime Doe, a black transgender woman who was the joy of everyone's life. This is from just over a year ago now. And then it said, Doe, a black transgender woman, is among the 61 unsolved cases of trans homicide over the last 5 years. Federal investigators allege that men carried out the plot because of Doe's actual and perceived gender identity. This is, like I said, February 2023. It said 2 South Carolina men were indicted on federal hate crime and obstruction of justice charges Wednesday, 2023, for the 2019 killing of a black transgender person. Pebbles Dime Doe, a transgender woman, was killed on August 4th, 2019. I think that might have been the same day as the Dayton Massacre, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it? I think it was. Or maybe it was the 3rd was the Dayton Massacre. I can't remember. That date seems familiar to me. Oh yeah, holy shit, it was. I thought it was, dude. It's funny that I put that in there, and as soon as it just pops up 2019 Dayton Massacre for that date. Yeah, that's pretty wild. So yeah, it was the same day then. Fucking crazy, bro. Interesting. But yeah, since federal prosecutors said in the indictment, so they charged Ritter with a hate crime and charged both Ritter and his associate, Xavier Peineke, with obstruction of justice, alleging that the 2 men killed Doe because of her actual and perceived gender identity and then misled cops. So basically, they killed them because they were a dude. So Doe's murder was among 61 unsolved crimes out of the 175 transgender deaths in the U.S. over the past 5 years, according to insider investigation and database capturing data that is not tracked by the FBI. Deaths in the family. It says Dime always been a friendly person to everyone. Barbara Kohlberg, her cousin, told Insider Edition in 2022, or told the Insider in 2022. Being Business Insider there, said joy of everyone's life. So according to court documents, Ritter shot Doe in the head in 2019, killing Doe. So investigators allege that over the days and months after the murder, Ritter knowingly provided misleading accounts of his interactions with Doe to South Carolina law enforcement. So Ritter then lied to police about his communication with Peineke, who lived a mile away from where Doe's body was discovered. Why would you drop that person that close to you, man? That's insane. Says Peineke told police that he did not have a phone number, though he had called and texted Doe on the day of their death. Says Peineke also lied about seeing Ritter during the morning ahead of the murder. Prosecutors added the hate crime charge against Ritter has a maximum sentence of life imprisonment, and obstruction of justice charge against the 2 men carries a maximum of 20 years apiece. So potentially you can basically have this guy get 20 life plus 20 years, what it is then. Crazy. Actually, this was kind of crazy too. Woman accused of murdering her doppelganger wanted to stage her death to get away from her strict religious community, prosecutors say. Fucking nuts, dude. Dude, people really are like just fucking insane is what it is. I don't know if I consider that chick to be her doppelganger, man. Like, yeah, they don't even look, honestly, like looking at those pictures side by side, they do not even look that alike, honestly, dude, at all. Like the first one looks like an obviously biological female. The second one there with the red lipstick and stuff looks like they could be a trans chick, honestly, if I'm going to be serious with you guys. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in the least, honestly. But anyway, but yeah, so moving on then, that was from last year, was that story there. And then, like I said, they already showed the killer there. And then we got this one from like a day and a half or 2 days ago from the Associated Press, which is First federal trial for a hate crime based on gender identity starts over trans woman's killing. So, Columbia, South Carolina, first federal trial over a hate crime based on gender identity began Tuesday in South Carolina, where a man faces charges that he killed a black transgender woman and then fled to New York. Said U.S. Department of Justice alleges that in August 2019, Dequia Lamech Ritter lured this dime person, who is, so quote unquote, the woman who is referred to as Dime Doe in court documents, into driving to a sparsely populated rural county in South Carolina. Ritter then shot them 3 times in the head with a .22 caliber handgun after they reached an isolated area near the uncle's house, according to Ben Garner, an assistant U.S. district attorney for the District of South Carolina. So I'm wondering if that other person that was charged with the obstruction of justice was this guy's uncle, maybe. That would make sense, actually. But again, like, this is what I don't understand about people, dude. Like, I get you're trying to look for an isolated area, but why would you do it that close to the other person's house? Like, that's just asking for trouble right there, man. If you're going to dispose of a body, like, you got to do it way out in the fucking woods, man. Seriously. Or nobody's going to find that motherfucker for years is what it is then. So, anyway. But, said in recent years, there have been a surge of attacks on, quote, LGBTQ plus community. Yeah, you know what else has been there, Mr. James Poland? There's also been a literal surge of transgenders going on fucking killing sprees in this country. Literally. Whether it be that Nashville shooter, whether it be the motherfucker there recently at that one middle school / high school that was in the bathroom, like, posting pics of themselves, claimed to be trans, and then went on to kill a kid. And I believe they also wounded the principal pretty badly, and a couple other people. And there's also a few others too, for that matter, like the ones in Colorado at the what was that called? Highlands Ranch, where one claimed to be, it was either, I think they were gay or / bisexual, and then the other one was transgender. And then, yeah, there's been like those different ones all the time, dude. And then there's also, it seems like there's more and more of these people popping out of the woodwork. Hell, there was one recently who was actually stopped from doing a fucking massacre. I think it was Washington State, if I'm not mistaken, like a month and a half or 2 months ago now is what it was. And it was only because they were doing like so much crazy shit. And what's funny to me about that one is that soon disappeared from the fucking headlines real quick is what it was, dude. Like, all we heard about that one was basically, oh yeah, there was a bunch of swastikas and Nazi apparel here for this person. And then it's like next day or two, it's just like, whoop, done, gone. And again, it's because it doesn't fit the mainstream media's fucking narrative of, oh, it's got to be a fucking straight white male doing this shit. So that's why they also cover up all the fucking black serial killers like that, or, you know, people that are doing massacres and shit too, for that matter. Same thing with people that are brown and stuff like that, or Asian for that matter. So, but anyway, let's see what this guy say though. There's a surge in attacks. Said for decades, transgender women of color have faced disproportionately high rates of violence and hate crimes. Yeah, and what you fail to mention there, dude, is that in that same time period, who's actually being the ones that are killing them? Oh yeah, it's other black men. Number one. Number two, it's because they're lying to these dudes in many cases, claiming, oh yeah, I'm the girl to your dreams, baby. And then literally starts fucking blowing this dude. And like I said, you know, again, one thing leads to another. Fucking they're sucking this dude off, whatever the case be. And then meanwhile, fucking dude, you know, reaches downstairs, whatever the case be, and finds a fucking, you know, appendage instead of a fucking slit there, you know? Like they're reaching down this person's pants or skirt, whatever it is there. And it's like, man, y'all got a dick. Like, that's usually what it is, too. It's something along those lines is the fucking, like, terminology. And then they fucking freak out and jump up or whatever the case be. And then it's where it gets violent in many cases, what it is there. Now, granted, in this case, like I said, I believe there's a lot more to this story, honestly. Like I said in the first 20 minutes or so of this episode, where I could easily see it being that Ritter guy actually being in some, like, weird down the relationship with this dime person. And it turned out that like they were having like a secret affair or secret love affair, whatever you want to call it there. And maybe they were into each other, for all we know. And then it was basically, meanwhile, Ritter was like, hanging out with some other actual biological females, is what it was there, or whatever. And wanted to go be with them or whatever it was. And then this dime chick was all like, well, I'm going to out you for being a gay man with me because I'm transgender or something like that is what it was. And then that's when they, did the whole like supposed stalking there, whatever the case be. And then lured them out to the rural area, and it was like bang, bang, bang in the head a bunch of times. What it was then. So it does kind of make me wonder though, because it said 22 handgun. I'm kind of wondering what kind of handgun, like what make and model, honestly, of the 22s. What was it? Was it a Ruger? Was it a Taurus? Was it one of the fucking Smith and Wessons? Because that's the thing. There's like a bunch of like the fact that this is handgun and not like a revolver. Like there's a bunch of different handguns right now that are chambered in 22 LR is what it is, dude. There's also a bunch of handguns that are chambered in 22 Magnum. There's also a bunch of old school handguns from back in the day that were like those little Saturday Night Specials that were like Raven Arms or something like that, and or it was like like Jennings or something like that. And then of course Jennings became Jimenez, and then Jimenez got sued out of existence by piece of shit Michael Bloomberg and company there. And yeah, you had like this whole ring of fire guns is what it was back in the day. And that's the thing people don't realize too, for that matter. Like, again, if your intent to kill somebody is to kill somebody like that, dude, like, a 22 or a 25, like right to the dome, dude, does a lot of damage. And, you look back at the 70s and 80s in this country, or even like the 80s into the early 90s and stuff like that. And you look into these, gang warfares between like the Bloods and the Crips and shit like that back in them days, dude. And like the whole like, drug epidemic of the 80s and stuff like that, where it was them fighting over gang turf and shit. Like most of the time it was not, some big ass fucking gun that was used in these killings, dude. It was literally something like the size of this mouse, more or less. Like a little 25, a little 22, whatever it was. They could just tuck into a fucking hand basically, and then just walk up to some dude and ding ding right in the fucking back of the head a couple times, and then they would take that gun and either toss it in like a sewer grate or whatever, or they would hand it off to some, chick that bought it for them, and then she would fucking, toss it into some river for them, whatever the case be then. And that's the thing too, for the matter. Like you look at a lot of those dudes, for that matter, even, this is where the whole straw purchasing thing came in back in the day, was you would have all these dudes that were in like Bloods and Crips gangs and stuff like that, who were convicted felons back in them days. And so they would take their girlfriends or their wives, or whoever it was at the time, with them to these, gun shops, and just look around for a little bit and be like, oh yeah, it's that one right there. And then have her do the fucking background check for them is what it was. And yet, meanwhile, it was an obvious straw purchase, what it was at the end of the day. And they would just walk out with that gun is what it was then. In many cases, people were stupid is what it was. They actually sold it to them is what it would be then. So, and yeah, like I said, there was a lot of killings back in them days, 25, 35 years ago, whatever it was, where you had a lot of dudes do a lot of damage with a teeny little package, dude. And that's also why a lot of those Ring of Fire gun companies as well got sued out of business back in them days, because of that reasoning, because so many of their firearms were being used in, gang warfare. That's what it was there. And ironically enough, now it's basically you got Glocks with fucking full-out switches on them that are illegal as fuck in this country, that all these gangbangers are using to shoot places up now. And yet you got dumbass Biden and company trying to attack fucking rifles and stuff in this nation. Or they literally the other day with the, Kansas City Super Bowl parade thing, they were claiming two of the guys were minors or whatever the case be that were involved in the shit. And it turned out they were not only not minors, the one was 18, the other one was like 22. But yet they were covering up their identities because they were two black shooters, what it was, dude. And they were having a fucking gang beef is what it ended up being there. So it's a bunch of shit either way. But Yeah, anyway. And again, that's what pisses me off about the whole thing here. And then, of course, this fucking guy goes into a whole thing here about this James guy goes into like this whole backstory about like, oh, these things about transgenders being, killed and blah, blah, blah here and whatnot. So, but yeah. So we're going to go ahead and read a little bit more. This is what it is then. Let's see. It said until 2009, federal hate crime laws did not account for offenses motivated by victims' sexual orientation or gender identity. They still shouldn't, by the way. It's fucking stupid that they do right now. So first conviction involving a victim targeted for their gender identity came in 2017. Mississippi man received a 49-year prison sentence as part of a plea deal after he admitted to killing a 17-year-old transgender woman. I'm pretty fucking sure that, again, that was a situation where it was like some download gay dude stuff is what it was, dude. So, I was trying to figure out if they actually showed pictures here or not. Or if they gave some names of people, maybe. Okay, so... Okay, so it was Joshua William, who is... Let's see if I can bring this person up now. Oh, there's the picture of both of them, actually. So, yeah, it was this guy in the glasses killing this person back here. Now, see, and again, like right there, that person, like I said, like the facial features of that person right there, they can almost pass for a chick. Like, almost. But you can still see, like, the obvious, like, there's still, like, a little bit of mannishness in their, facial deal is what it is. So, actually, that's probably a better one to more accurately show them as, like, more of a chick then. So, that one looked more like a man, honestly. Yeah, very mannish. Again, like, I could kind of see it, like, a little bit here and there, but, like, again, it's a whole thing, man. So, and I think they were lying, too, if I'm not mistaken, in that one, to that person as well. So, and that's what it usually is, man. It's a bunch of lies. It's a bunch of lies and a bunch of shit from these people, dude. And then you're going to sit there and be like, oh, but they killed them because of gender identity. It's like, no, they didn't actually. No, they did not. It's like they killed them because you lied to the motherfucker because they thought they were getting some hot poon. And it turned out you were fucking, that hole was actually a pole. So there you go, man. So, actually looking at this person a little more here and some of these other pictures, they actually, I can see a couple of them passing for like a chick. Like they came pretty close. They came real close, man. Like, and I can see like you do a little bit of dim lighting or something there. Like, yeah, you're definitely passing for like some hot piece of ass then. So, but yeah, it's a whole thing. But anyway, where were we now? Okay, so yeah, let's go back to the thing. So you had, 2017 was the first time they were targeted for gender identity is what it claimed there. And then Tuesday marks first time that such a case has ever been brought on trial, said according to Brooke Andrews, assistant DA for Southern District, South Carolina, said never before has a federal jury decided whether to convict or further punish someone for a crime based on victim's gender identity. During opening statements, Gardner portrayed Ritter as someone working vigilantly to avoid the ridicule he'd face if his secret relationship was exposed. Okay, yeah, right there. Like I just said, dude. Yep. There they finally admit then. Secret relationship exposed. So, yeah. So, like I said, 100%, it was two dudes doing download gay guy shit. And then it's like, I guarantee that dime person was all like, well, I'm going to out you because you're just some gay motherfucker. And they're like, the hell you are, bitch. And it was just like, ding, ding, ding. And that's exactly what it was, dude. So, which ironically enough, it's like, bro, like, even back then, man, it was like, dude, it was 2019. Like, that shit was being accepted now. You know, like who gives a fuck? And like that's the case right now, right? And that's the problem I think, unfortunately, with a lot of these communities. What it is, dude. It's like nobody really cares, bro. Like here's my thing, right? As long as you're in a relationship with another consenting adult, nobody really gives a fuck, bro. Like nobody gives a fuck if you happen to both be sharing the same genitalia or not. Nobody gives a fuck if you were, you know, whatever the fuck you want to do there. Like as long as you're not hurting children, I think everybody's okay with you. Like obviously some older generations of people might be like, "Oh, y'all just gay," or whatever the case be, or like just sort of like, you know, give you the cold shoulder because of that, or whatever the case be. Because again, it's something new and weird to them, is what it is. Where in reality, it's like, no, that's just your everyday life now, is what it is. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if you truly love this person, then be with that person. You know, there's no reason to kill that person. Like, it's just stupid, man. And to sit there and be like, let's carry on the secret relationship, like, that's even dumber then, because it's like, you're just at the end of the day, what this Ritter guy did was he put himself in the situation. He decided to be in a relationship with a person who obviously shared the same biological sex as he did, claimed to be a transgender person, obviously, and then wondered why, you know, down the road they were going to use that against him, is what it was then. And the fact that he thought his only recourse here was murder, again, just shows what an ignorant motherfucker Daquia Lameek Ritter actually is. Because even like I said, just looking at this guy right here, man, like, this dude looks like the kind of guy that would even go into prison and just be like doing some down low gay shit with like a cellmate or multiple cellies and stuff like that in that place. So I'm not the least bit surprised by that, honestly, dude. I'm not the least bit surprised that he, you know, is carrying on some relationship with that Ladime person then. And like I said, I would not be least bit surprised then if it was something where they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna out you for being, you know, down low gay, Ritter." And Ritter's like, "No, you're not." So, yeah, it's just sad. It's just a sad situation all the way around, dude. Like, you have multiple lives ruined now because this guy just wanted to fucking not be outed as a possible gay man, is what it is then. Or bisexual man, even for that matter. Because the thing is, he might have even been gay for that matter. He might have been a bisexual dude, honestly. So, anyway, let's go continue reading the rest of the story, though, because I think it does mention some other stuff in here about how they met each other. So, yeah, let's see. It said, Gardner portrayed Ritter as someone who worked vigilantly to avoid ridicule. He'd faced the secret relationship was exposed, so they'd met during the teenage years when he traveled from his grandmother's Brooklyn home to visit family property in Allendale, South Carolina. Two had been close friends, according to the defense, and were related through Ritter's aunt and the woman's uncle. Huh, interesting. That's even weirder, actually, because that almost seems like it's almost like some weird ass incest or something. Like not really, but like kinda. Like through marriage incest, I guess is what I'd say on that one. Yeah, that's really weird. So it was Ritter's aunt and then this dime person's uncle. Weird. But anyway, it says Ritter became enraged. Yeah, there you go. Ritter became enraged when he learned that one of Doe's friends knew. Oh, there you go. Knew about their sexual relationship, according to Gardner. Ritter threatened to beat them for sharing the information with anyone, something he had repeatedly instructed them not to do. Okay, so that's what it was. So you were like, yeah, we can fuck, but don't tell anybody. And they went and told somebody, and he's like, I'm gonna beat your ass now, kind of thing. So, yeah, and again, it's so ridiculous, dude. It's like, again, dude, like, no, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess unless like you're the one taking it in the ass from the trans person, like, Maybe that's what was going on there. Maybe this dude was into like some weird pegging shit or something. So, I don't know, man. But like that's the whole point entirely, right? It's like, again, nobody really cares, man. If you're fucking this person or if you're getting fucked by that person, like again, nobody really gives a shit. So to sit there and be all like, "Oh, you fucking shouldn't have told them," or whatever the case be, and that's why they decided to kill this person, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. Entirely. I hope they throw the book at this motherfucker, honestly, over this whole thing, dude, just because of that alone. So anyway, yeah, let's see here. It said, threatened to beat Dime for disclosing information, something they told him not to do. Said government has said that Ritter's girlfriend learned about. Oh, okay, that's what it was. So he was already in a relationship with a biological female then. And that chick learned about the affair between Ritter and Doe in the month before the killings. The prosecutors believe the revelation, which they say prompted Ritter's girlfriend to hurl a homophobic slur at him, made Ritter extremely upset. So yeah, she's basically like, "Oh, you just some, FAG motherfucker." So anyway. So Gardner cited text messages prompting to show that Ritter complained to Doe about the mockery less than a week before the death. Said he killed them to silence them. They say that Ritter lied about the whereabouts in an interview with state police later that day. A nervous Ritter walked to his uncle's house about a half mile from the crime scene and asked for a ride home. According to Gardner, prosecutors say that Ritter enlisted others to help burn the clothes, hide the weapon, and mislead cops about the location on the day of the murder. So Ritter is said to have been splitting time between South Carolina, where he had a job and driver's license, and New York, where he lived with family and was eventually arrested. So government lawyers plan to present witness testimony about Ritter's location and text messages with Doe, in which he allegedly persuaded them to take a ride. Evidence includes video footage taken from traffic stop around 3 p.m. on the day of the death that shows Ritter's left wrist tattoo, but not his face, and in the passenger seat of the other person's car is what it was. So other evidence includes DNA from the Doe person's car and testimony from multiple people who say that Ritter privately confessed to them about the fatal. Like, why the fuck would you admit to killing this person, dumbass? Like, Jesus Christ, bro! Like, you're a fucking idiot, man. Seriously. It says Ritter's lawyers have emphasized that the trial is not about the sexual relationship. The hell it's not, dude. But whether Ritter killed Doe, said Lindsey Vaughn, one of the defense attorneys, argued Tuesday that no physical evidence points to Ritter as a perpetrator. What the fuck, bitch? He literally admitted to people privately that he murdered this fucking person. Like, pretty fucking sure, word of fucking mouth from the murderer himself, telling people, "Yeah, I killed that bitch. Here's the gun I used," etc., etc. Like, yeah, pretty sure you're fucking dead to rights, motherfucker. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Fucking defense attorneys, man, I'll tell you what. It says, notably, Vaughn said that the state law enforcement division never processed a shotgun never possessed a shotgun residue test that Ritter voluntarily took the day of the killing. Says defense has said it is no surprise that Ritter might have been leaked to Doe's car, considering their intimate ties. Says further, Vaughn said that the traffic stop footage could have been taken as early as 3 hours before the death. Again, that's 3 hours before they were dead, man. Like, that's not like, 3 months, 3 years, 3 weeks, whatever. It was fucking a couple hours before their death. Said defense added that the witnesses' claims regarding the disposal of evidence are inconsistent. Vaughn said Ritter's friends have given conflicting interviews about details of the alleged burning of Ritter's clothes while facing the threat of federal prosecution if they fail to cooperate. Said any lies that Ritter told investigators were the result of his deep-seated fear of being considered a suspect and adding more fuel to the local gossip about the relationship. Prosecutors say don't plan to seek death penalty, but Ritter could face. Okay, so death penalty was possibly on the table on that one. That's interesting because I thought it was supposed to be a life sentence. If that be the case. Yes, don't plan to seek death penalty, but Ritter could face multiple life sentences convicted by a jury. In addition to hate crime charges, Ritter faces 2 other counts that he committed murder with a firearm and misled investigators. Wait, this is 2 counts. Yeah, he committed murder with a with firearm and misled investigators. Okay, yeah, just fucking ridiculous is what it is. Like I said, it's so fucking stupid. It was so fucking stupid. Again, like this is why you like. Okay, what's even more interesting about this whole situation there is. This goes back to something I've talked about many, many times, dude, which is fidelity, which is morality, which is monogamy. Like, seriously, bro, you're going to be in a relationship with another person, an actual biological female, the woman who could be the mother of your children, and yet you're going to go around and fuck around with this random motherfucker who also has a dick. And then you wonder why the shit gets out is what it is eventually. It's fucking stupid, man. So really, if Daquaya Lameek Ritter had simply kept his dick in his pants, he'd be fine. He would have never went to jail for murder. To this day is what it is, dude. And that's the problem right there. Again, it goes back to stop fucking around, man. You know, seriously. Or if you're gonna fuck around, don't be in long-term relationships and stuff like that. Just be a bunch of hookup people is what it is then. So I don't know anymore, man. It's just sad. Like I said, the thing is, like, not only did that Ritter guy ruin, you know, Dime's life by killing them, he ruined his own life by killing this person. He ruined his family member's life by having them be an accomplice, either before or after the fact. He pretty much ruined other people's lives too, for that matter, by having all those other people basically be, you know, witnesses for him, or, you know, various people to help dispose of the fucking evidence is what it is then. And then you ruin the lives of Dime's family and your own family for that matter. Because now, because of you, they have lost a son forever because you're going to prison pretty much forever is what it is then. And you got that Dime person's family losing their, you know, son/daughter because you're a piece of shit, dude. So, yeah, this is one of these sad situations where there really is no winners is what it is here. You know? Like, nobody wins in this kind of a case at all. And what's even sadder is, you know, I remember last year, actually, when Mom was still with us, and we were going to watch a thing, and then she kind of fell asleep on me, so I watched it by myself, was what it was. You had Investigation Discovery do I think it was supposed to be like a 25 or a 30-year special, something like that, on Matthew Shepard is what it was. For those who know who Matthew Shepard is, he was a guy that was, I forget if it was Montana or Wyoming that he was murdered in, but basically a bunch of good old boys, you know, had a problem with him supposedly being a gay guy is what it was, and then took him out to the outlying area and, like, literally tied him up to a fucking fence posted like barbed wire and shit like that and left him there to die, basically is what it was. And so what you had with that Investigation Discovery special was, I want to say it was like a 2-hour thing that I was watching or something. And like the first half hour to 40 minutes, give or take, was roughly about Matthew's life, like growing up and then realizing he was gay as like a kid or whatever it was there, or like a young teen or whatever it was. And then, you know, basically living his life as a gay guy is what it was then in this town that, you know, might not have actually accepted that stuff back in those days. And then you had, you know, them showing like the actual crime, and, you know, this was the people that actually like went and decided they were going to kill this dude for being a gay guy is what it was. And that's pretty much where it should have ended. It should have ended like almost right there is what it is. But instead, it went on for another hour or so. And you literally had these leftist assholes that were being interviewed just hijack the shit out of the whole fucking thing after that, is what it was. Because instead of it just being about Matthew Shepard, the guy who was actually murdered for his, his gender identity, and that be the case, being a gay man. No, instead you have these pieces of shit, leftist radical pieces, like literal Antifa asshole type of fucking terrorist pieces of shit, really is what it is, who went on this whole fucking tirade for the next hour then, bitching about like trans kids this and trans people that and da 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 and LGBTQ blah. And it's like, dude, that has nothing to do with Matthew Shepard at all. The only thing it has to do with is you trying to push your own fucked up leftist agenda by literally standing on this man's fucking grave to push your bullshit. And that's what pisses me off, honestly. Like I said, as someone who does consider themselves to be bisexual at this point, is you have these fucking people who will sit there and they will push this fucking bullshit and they will push this fucking bullshit. But yet, you have these leftist asswipes out there claiming they're so fucking tolerant about everything, but yet they would never accept me because I'm a right-wing dude, because I love guns, because I respect the human life of the unborn in this country, because I am pro-life, because I am anti-abortion, because I love this country, because I want to see the next generation live, because I understand that we need the Second Amendment to protect ourselves against a tyrannical government, etc. And because of all those ideals of mine, because of all those constitutional, based politicalness of my own making, these people hate me and they would never accept me. And it's fucking sad. And then you wonder why so many other people have walked away from that side. Because, oh, God forbid, it's some gay person, some lesbian, some fucking, bisexual person, some fucking trans person, whatever it is. Oh my God, they put on a fucking MAGA hat and they're like Trump. Oh man, they're the fucking enemy now, according to leftist dipshits out there. Like, it's so fucking retarded, man. And it's like the same exact thing with people out here nowadays, dude. Like, you have all these like mediocre looking people on both sides of the political spectrum, etc. there, that could easily be in loving relationships with each other if they would simply put their bullshit aside and actually try to live among each other and have a functioning relationship with the other person. But that's the problem, is so many don't want to do that. And then you wonder why America's birth rates are in the fucking toilet right now. You wonder why Biden, his term right now, his illegal term currently, has brought in enough people into this country, over 7 million illegal aliens in this country now, more than 2 times the national average for the American citizen birth rate. And yet you tell me that America doesn't have a problem. You tell me there's not a takeover of this country. You tell me there's not a fucking replacement agenda in place right now. Bull fucking shit, dude. 100% there is. And it's as simple as that, really. But anyway, I'm fading real fast. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but my eyes are like going shut in and out is what it is, because I'm getting real tired right now. Because it is 2 a.m. obviously, and I barely got any sleep at all yesterday. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a night then, and I will be back hopefully later today with Freedom Friday. If I'm not back later today by like 5 or 6, like, just assume it's not happening then. But yeah, I think I have it set for like right before 5 o'clock this afternoon. But I'm gonna try. I'll probably go like a little bit after 5, is what I'm guessing, like 5:10, 5:15, something like that maybe. And then yeah, if we don't start by like, I would say 5:30 to 6 o'clock, like, just assume I'm not doing a chat at all then, because it could just be something where I'm just passed out in bed or something then, and just decided to fucking call it early night or whatever the case be then or something, or just get a few more hours of rest or something maybe before doing some game stuff or something. But anyway, yeah, that being said, though, like I said, in the situation here with this whole, South Carolina trial, it's a sad situation all the way around, dude. Again, do we really need hate crime charges in this country? I don't truly believe so, because again, it's always going to be radicalized for some reason or another. There's what it is. That being said, does this dude need charged with first-degree murder in the state of South Carolina? Fuck yeah, he does, dude. Does he need charged with premeditated murder in that situation? Yes, he does. Does this Ritter guy just need to never see the light of day ever again? Yes. That's exactly what needs to happen to his ass, dude. And if he doesn't actually get killed by death penalty, then let him fucking rot in prison forever is what it is then, dude. Let him sit there every fucking day of his miserable last life thinking about the person that he murdered in cold blood just because he didn't want people sitting there making fun of him and being all like, oh, you're just a down low gay guy or whatever then. Like, it's so stupid. Again, who gives a shit what people think, dude? Fuck them. If I really gave a shit what people thought about me, dude, I wouldn't be on YouTube still is what it is. I don't, and that's the entire point, And I'm actually glad, like, going back about a year or so now, give or take, or no. It's actually almost 2 years ago now. That fall that happened between myself, Guns and Barbecue, and everybody like that, dude. I'm fucking happy it happened right now, dude, because honestly, those guys showed their true colors to me real quick, is what it was. Like, they showed me one thing, and it's how fucking quickly people you think are your friends or your acquaintances will stab you in the fucking back over just some bullshit is what it is, dude. And yet I've been proven right time and again in the last couple of years now since then. And that is exactly why I will double down. I will continue to double down on those kind of things, dude. Because I know I'm fucking right about it. Because I know from my own personal experience and from having things happen to me and seeing things from my lens of, thought and stuff like that, we are in a fucked up time period in this country. And it seems like a lot of people are finally waking up to it too, for that matter. To the anti-white racism, to the fucking black supremacy going on in our country, et cetera, here. And, it can't be ignored anymore in many cases. And the people who are still trying to, put their heads down and bury them in the fucking sand, et cetera, dude, like, you're part of the problem, honestly, at this point. You're not part of the solution. Because if you were part of the solution, you would be actually willing to speak the fucking truth about it right now, like I am. And be willing to actually have a real fucking conversation, sit down with people and stuff like that, and be like, hey, man, like, maybe we should do things differently this way or that way or another way, whatever the case be. Like, here's a better way to do this kind of thing, and like, help thy neighbor and stuff like that's what it is, dude. But instead, people just want to fucking infight and wonder why, we have so many states right now that are going full anti-gunner again is what it is, dude. And it's not that hard to figure out, honestly. It's these scumbag ass pieces of shit, these fucking left wing ass Democrats in many cases that are leading the charge. These rhino sacks of shit who are backing their asses in many cases then, because they don't fucking care. And it's all just one big smoke and mirrors fucking scam is what it is. And I'm personally sick and tired of it. And I think many other Americans are too, for that matter. And it's only a matter of time, I think, honestly, before something just decides to go hot, decides to kick off, decides to just say, fuck it, And I think that time is approaching us very, very quickly right now. And it's a scary fucking time ahead, honestly. I'm not even going to lie about it, man. It is a frightening ass time ahead in this country, because you never know what's going to happen until it actually happens, And like I said yesterday with Corey in the Buckshot episode, I truly believe that cell phone outage yesterday was a fucking test run, dude. I think it was a dry run for whatever entity it be that's going to try that shit again, a couple months from now. And then you got people like Marco Rubio coming out and being like, well, next it'll be the banks. And then people coming out and being like, no, next it'll be the water and the power and stuff like that. And that's the scariest fact too, right? Like, I remember, like I said the other day, I was sitting in here. I was literally, in the fucking house the other day, had my, little red throw here over me, over my arms and shoulders and stuff, because I fell asleep in the chair again the other day. And yeah, fucking power went out. I looked over at the heater over there. The heater was off. Looked over here to the TV. The fucking time was off on that too because the power was out from that. And laptop was running on backup power. That was the only reason that was still on. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's interesting. And then literally went to bed, bundled up as best I could, tried to sleep a little bit, but it was still freezing in there. Ended up getting a few hours of sleep, waking up a little bit later, finding out the power was still out, decided to grab my tablet that I was given because it has the ability to go to a internet server or internet service is what it is then to check stuff is what it is on that for a couple of gigs a month is what it is. And I had the ability to go on there and check the thing, and sure enough, it was like 5:30 that morning. Some jackass had hit a pole in our area there, and had basically knocked out power to like the entire area here is what it was, like a 2-3 block radius, whatever it is there, that were on that same line. And it showed me right then and there, like, look at that right there, man. You got some dude, going left of center, right of center, whatever it is, to avoid hitting like a deer crossing the road, more or less, or probably something similar to that is my guess, honestly. And, God forbid, like, they overcorrect and then it's just like, boom, right into a fucking pole or smash right fucking, fishtail into the side, into the pole, whatever it is there. And then, yeah, sure enough, like, I'm without power for like several hours after that's what it was. And I think what it was supposed to be 1 p.m. was the initial time that they were supposed to bring it back on or whatever. And then it was around like 11:45, almost 12 that morning / early afternoon is when I finally remember it popping back on. And I was like, oh, thank God. And I was able to put, some heat on in the bedroom. And it was like so much better after that, dude, because I was so cold. And, yeah, like it just sucks, dude. It sucks to know that, we are living in a situation right now where you have such a corrupt, tyrannical government and you have such a bunch of corruption all the way around. And yet these people are openly in your fucking face, shoving shit in your face that you never know is going to happen. But at the end of the day, if you're in tune like I am or like other people are right now and you're looking into this stuff and you're researching some stuff every day, it seems like you can easily find some of these things and be like, oh yeah, dude, there's totally a pattern of this kind of thing or whatever. Or it's like, hey, look back at this period of time, 115, 120 years ago, whatever it was then. And, then you can see right then and there, like the late 1800s, or 1900s, stuff like that. There were very much people who would deal with stuff back then the same way they dealt with it now is what it is then. So anyway, but yeah. And I think we were a lot better off back then, honestly, without technology and everything else like that. And it was a simpler life, honestly, man. You got married, you had a few kids, those kids grew up, your daughters, etc., that were, a certain age back then, because I think you only had to be like 13 or 14 or something like that back then before mom and dad would send you off to go start your own family, basically. But then again, that was also, the 1890s where you had people basically dying of like minor infections, like, oh, you stub your fucking toe on something and you got no antibiotics, and then you're just like, well, I guess I'm dead now. Or it was like some dude had like a minor cut on his finger or something like that, where you took you basically were like cutting something up and the knife like, slipped or whatever and like slashed across your finger, like that kind of thing is what it is then. And then again, you have no antibiotics, you're naturally trying to fight off infection, etc. there. And by the time, the shit does happen, you've gone so fucking far south that you're just fucked is what it is then. So anyway, but yeah, needless to say, like, it's definitely smart, I think, to go and start looking for some things and see exactly how good or bad the streets of this country really are and how bad it's getting is what it is right now. And like I was talking to my uncle last night, I said, just wait for summer, wait for food gangs to come around, and I'm sure that they will exist right now is what it is at some point here this summer. And when you have people that can't even afford basic necessities, then like that's the problem, dude. And that's exactly what's gonna, I think, spark something off right now. It's like that guy was saying, with that video yesterday where he was like talking about, fuck the government. I'm not gonna put up with your unjust law bullshit anymore, whatever the case be there. And I totally fucking agree with it, man. I absolutely 100% agree with what this guy was saying, because you never ever know what will happen with people, what will change, et cetera, until you actually see it firsthand with your own eyes. And God forbid you say the wrong thing, or you misinterpret something, whatever it is, and people just lose their fucking ever-loving minds, dude. And it's just sad. It really is, honestly. So, anyway. Yeah, that being said, though, I am going to go ahead and call it a night then, because I am literally about to pass out on camera right now. I'm not going to have that be a thing. So, it's been real. It's been fun. I'll be back hopefully at some point later today with Freedom Friday. Like I said, if I'm not, you guys will know why. It's because I'm literally passed out in bed, sleeping is what it'll be then. So, all right. Like I said, though, have a good one, y'all. And I will, if I'm back, as long as I come back on for Freedom Friday later today, we will be discussing a bunch of different various things, just like we did yesterday with Corey. And I'll probably bring up some more X stories that are worth talking about, or various things that are worth discussing, because you never know, man. You never know what could be, the thing that sets you apart from everybody else, or whatever. Or hell, it could just be something where it's like, you got fucking like 10 people this thing or whatever, but like 0 people that thing, and then it just becomes a whole thing, is what it is then. So anyway, again, I think I'm kind of talking in circles, unfortunately, and I'm not meaning to, but it's pretty much cognitive, imbalance going on right now, because I am literally passing out as I'm speaking. So, all right. Like I said, they'll definitely be back at some point. Hopefully, it'll be later tonight for Freedom Friday. If it's not, I'm seriously thinking about bringing back Stand Your Ground Saturday. I just need to figure out exactly what number we'd be on now for the new year. And, maybe we'll just do that at some point in the near future, and just have everybody, that wants to jump on that panel. And then we'll just have a whole thing there, is what it is then. So, anyway. But yeah, as it stands, though, it's time to take a stand. It's time to actually stand up for the kids of this world. It's time to deal with the fucking tyrant bullshit. And it's literally time to go and do what needs to be done. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see y'all later. I think I just muted myself, but I'm not sure how long I was muted for actually on that one. But yeah, it's been a good one. It's been fun, been real. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, stay vigilant, always be carrying. Make sure you're always carrying backup mags with you at all times anymore, because you never know when you're going to need them, and you never know when your life is in danger until it actually is in danger. Have a good one, y'all. Later.